Here's the truth about the circle of fifths. It's not boring, we just haven't been teaching it right. Today we're tackling every piano teacher's challenge, making the circle of fifths engaging instead of overwhelming. I used to only pull out the circle of fifths when starting new technique books and then wondered why my students couldn't make the same connections I did. Sound familiar? I'm sharing 15 practical activities that transform this essential tool into hands-on learning experiences for your intermediate students that they'll actually enjoy. We'll move from never used it before activities to approaches for students with some familiarity, covering listening, reading, and writing activities that connect theory to the music they're playing. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Rosemary. I've been teaching for over 20 years and composing imaginative educational piano music for nearly as long here at Must Love Music. If this is helpful, please consider subscribing. So let's start with the easiest access point, listening. If you've never introduced the circle of fifths, begin by playing just the tonic note of all major keys going around the circle. We want them discovering these are patterns that repeat over and over again. Now you can do this with single notes, chords, or even demonstrate how major and minors change when the home note stays the same. So for example, if I was doing this, I would maybe start with C major and I would go around. So C, G, D, A, E. Now we're getting into our flats, or actually we're not, C flat, but more like B, and so on. When I do this with my students, I'll often start really low on the piano so that they can see it covers the entire piano. If you want to show that there are fourth parts going counterclockwise, this works really well. And if you want to see my trick for helping students find those relative major and minors, be sure to subscribe so that you get the video tomorrow. Now, by intermediate level, I'm aiming for students to listen to and name chord progressions in various keys using 3 to 4 chords in a row. But I want to stick with the tonic, so the 1 chord, subdominant, the 4th chord, and dominant chords, the 5th chord. Now, one caveat, I would not do all of these activities in one lesson. Spread them out over time so lessons stay focused on music making. Plus, it gives their brains time to assimilate before introducing other explorations of this concept. Let me show you these concepts in action with the piece Moments. This intermediate piece moves between relative major and minors, making it perfect for demonstrating circle of fifth relationships. Now, your students can experience the musical magic firsthand by playing the piece themselves, and you can find it in the description link below or this QR code. Now, when I use pieces like this, I'll play it first, and I'll ask my students to tell me where they think it switched modalities, so major and minor. And then we discuss whether it started in the relative major or minor. Once we figure out the order of the modality, so did it start with minor or major, then listening for tonic chords and notes becomes a lot easier. Most technique books include a circle of fifths chart, much like this one, but they rarely explain how to actually use it. So let's go beyond reference material like this. Have your students play the tonic of each key going around the circle and then figure out the interval by looking at their keyboard. Ask them when it's going clockwise or to the right, what type of accidentals do we see? What about when you go counterclockwise? What's the pattern in the outer circle? I'm curious, do you find your students connect better with listening activities or reading activities first? Drop a comment and let me know what works in your studio. Next, connect this information to their repertoire. Which keys have 2 sharps? Is that the piece that you're learning this week? The answer to that is yes in my studio. My students have figured this out. Now, speaking of reading activities, there's a companion learner video called Circle of Fifths Piano Breakthrough from Confused to Confident that shows another approach to reading and writing with the Circle of Fifths that ties directly to the repertoire. And it's an approach that my students absolutely prefer. These Circle of Fifths activities are just one example of how effective studio teaching connects theory to practical music making. Now, if you're looking for more pedagogically sound resources that your students will love, my Best Piano Email Ever newsletter delivers ready-to-implement teaching ideas, studio-proven sheet music, and flexible teaching approaches right to your inbox. Plus, you can help influence what resources I create next. So check the description below or scan the QR code on the screen to join all the piano teachers that are in our amazing community. Our final category is writing, and I'm using this term broadly since we may have neurodiverse learners who struggle with traditional writing. Remember, our goal is playing music, not practicing penmanship. You can use Legos, mini blocks, gems, or even those really cute erasers on your piano keys or theirs to show major or minor keys. So long as it won't fall through the keys, you're good. Another option is to have students place items on a blank staff to show all of the tonic notes. You can get them writing out the order of sharps and flats or drawing all the sharps and flats on separate staves, so the grand staff. Be sure to meet each student where they are. Maybe writing out all the sharps and flats is too much. Maybe they could write out the key signature for the piece that they're working on. It'll come with time. And just remember, we want to relate everything back to their music because then they actually care. Understanding the Circle of Fifths like this helps your students see the patterns in their music and feel confident exploring musical relationships on their own. To dive deeper into this concept, check out From Confused to Confident. It's designed for your students and shows how these patterns connect to the pieces they're actually playing. Thanks and happy teaching.